Alright, today we're gonna talk about Dragonic Lawkeeper. Some of you may think of it as an old, forgotten, and not useful card with a 10k base, but it's actually quite useful thanks to the new Stride era. Well, here's will be a deck profile. First, I'll be using 3 Dragonic Lawkeepers, because sometimes 4 is too much. Although it may be a main card in this deck, but make no mistake that thanks to the recent new Stride units, there are some units like Pale Moon or even Dark Irregulars that don't even require rear guards to begin the attack. Next will be 3 Heroic Sega Dragons. 2 Heroic, sorry. Heroic Sega, although it's an R card, is a actually quite decent card. Thanks to these babies, 3 freaking Dauntless Drive Break Rights. Well, all of you may know the combo with Lawkeeper and Dauntless, but it's actually for this Lawkeeper build, you might want to depend more on Lawkeeper restanding at 23,000 instead of 13,000 attack power. So all in all, it's a pretty this is my build for the deck. Next up, we have the grade 2s. Emotes. 3 of them. Emotes, just like Heroic Sega, needs Generation Break 1 and a Counter Blast, as well as a unit retired in the same column for it to activate its effect as 11k beater. And also sometimes this guy helps annoy your opponents, like 11,000 attack to your opponent's vanguard and they need 2 units to guard. So using 3 is quite okay, just in case 1 or 2 of them go to the damage zone or still remain at the bottom of the deck. Next, one of the few staples, Berserk Dragon. These Berserk Dragons are actually used originally for getting rid of those annoying units, but thanks to resist, it's actually quite obsolete, but it's still quite staple in most Kagero decks. Next, these 3 11k attackers, Blaze. Thanks to Blaze also, Lawkeeper can actually activate Blaze easily thanks to its Counter Blast skill. And with that, Blaze can be activated, and this guy becomes 11k attacker. Just like Bellicosity, attacks and unflips, but that's only a Generation Break 1 skill. That's for the grade 2s. Now for the grade 1s. 3 of these Perdition Mages. Well, playing Lawkeeper means empty open rear guard circles. That also means more opportunities for Perdition units to use their skills. This skill, when he faces an empty column, Soul Blast 1, he can choose a unit of your choosing and blast 4k. Imagine Lawkeeper swing at you at your opponent for 27,000 without the boost. Yeah, or if not, Berserk Dragon or even Emote, just in case your opponent's a cross-right unit. Next up to these PR Bellocks. These units are normally used for getting rid of Tidal Assaults or even Nova Grapplers units that require that can stand for front row units. There's only play 2 because this is just an alternative when guarding. Next up, 2 Chimnaros. Normally at the beginning of the games where people would set their grade 1s on the field, this would actually help get rid of those grade 1s beginning of Stride before and after the Stride phase. So just like Berserk Dragon, Counter Blast and retire, but it has built up the soul. And next would be 4 Perfect Guards. I'm playing 2 normals and 2 Blaze Reyes Nulls. because of Blaze, like I said, Lawkeeper can activate Blaze thanks to his skill. And also, Flame of Aeotonic. Well, you don't want to retire. Well, retiring units require counterblast. Aeotonics helps you to restore at least 1 or 2 on flip cards. And also one of the great 2s I forgot to mention, Kimnaras. I played 2 of them, just like the Kimnara before, but this one has Blaze. This house builds up the soul and only activates after attacking, regardless whether it hits or not. Next up will be a trigger line. Let's see, 4 nulls, 6 criticals, wait for it, 3 stands, and 3 Gatling Claw draws. Well, the reason I'm playing stand triggers is, other than retiring and unflipping for this deck, you might want to increase the attack power of some of your rear guards. Gatling Claw, just as most Kagero users know, that they are used to get rid of all starters before that has some skill like Great Cheese Searchers or even those new Shell Paladin starters that can retire and be regarded as 2 units. For the start, I'm using Red Pulse Draco Kid. Why? Well, because depending on the situation, other than getting the Great Tree for riding, you also need sometimes Great Trees for stride cost. That is how Red Pulse Draco Kid comes in. If I have too much Great Trees, I'll just keep it in the rearguard circle just to shuffle the deck. For deck filtering normally. Well, that's for the trigger lineup. Next up, the strides. Here I play 1 Vortex Desire, 2 Novels, 2 G-Guards, 1 Titan, 1 Mammoth, and 2 Mustafars. Well, the Titan was actually a bonus I got from a booster, so I'm actually trying it out in the deck. Mustafar, other than that, Mustafar and even Vortex Desire helps maintain the retiring cost for the stand trigger. So whenever I retire, I can use his skill and get another unit plus extra 10,000 power. If I give that to Kimnara, you can imagine Kimnara swing at 18,000 on his own. Next up, Novel Express. This guy normally we use as a final turn unit. You can only get these for legend decks, which normally people would sell the unfoiled version, which is what I got. Blade Master Titan. This skill allows me to retire a unit and also gain Blaze ability. Extra critical for each Titan, but since I'm only playing 1, why not? Mustafar. Other than retiring, I can open any card in the G zone. I can open Mustafar or Mammoth, either way. For each Mustafar in the G zone that's open, I can unflip a card. So unless you plan to use it like to keep retiring for each counterblast cost and unflipping on the second one, he's an ideal guy. For Mammoth and Vortex, these 2 work just about the same. The only difference is Vortex retires any amount of unit, same as on the Vanguard circle. Which, if you play Legion as your Vanguard, as your heart, most probably can retire about 3 units, yes, including himself as a dragon type on the Vanguard circle. 2 G-Guards. I don't like to play too much more than 3 or 4 for G-Guards because what are the odds of you getting more than 3 heals in your hands? Only in drive checks and draw phase, but that's not actually a good sign. One of them is actually a normal G-Guardian, As I have more units, I control the advantage of protection. Next up, Griffin. Well, his skill, just like Belloc, helps me to retire a unit that's attacking, like Tidal Assault or Magnum Assault, or even Cool Hank. These are actually just what I've been playing all along and what helped me defeat quite a few decks, like Link Joker, except for the latest Messiah though. Those are really broken. And that's about it, my Lawkeeper build. Hope you enjoy this. It's only quite a shitty build. But then again, nobody plays hardly anyone plays Lawkeeper, so only thing I managed to say is this deck is quite stable. But if you plan to play those on heavy retiring, I recommend that you should avoid playing stand triggers. Because by playing heavy retiring, you would gain skills like Imat and also Heroic Sega. So Lawkeeper may switch out and play some other units like Chain Attack, the new Sutherland Great Tree. All in all, this is a pretty stable build. I would recommend playing a full 8 stand and 4 draws build because I actually tried it before. It actually gave me a lot of attacks, just like Nova Grappler. But the downside to it is, if I don't have any regards, I'm actually just standing my back row. So yeah, there's pros and cons, so that's why I recommend playing at least around 3 stands, just for that extra attack. It's like you might annoy the shit out of your opponent, even if they get triggered in their damage zone. Well, that's it. My very own Lawkeeper deck. Until then, if I manage to get any new builds or new supports, I'll pretty much post on my page. See you.